What's up, guys? Long time no see. It's been a while since I made a video. I apologize, but I'm back, at least for today. And we're going to talk about these Epoch ID Jr pads for your little guy. Let's go. All right, so I am a former youth coach. I started at what we called the Bobblehead level. So these were like 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds. I think there was a 4-year-old out there. And so all the parents had the local lacrosse stores entry-level kit, like the kit pads, and, you know, stick and helmet and everything. And they were fine. You know, they're fine for 6-year-old, 7-year-old. But 8, 9, 10, I think, you know, kids start playing, some kids start playing at a level that requires better gear. And actually, those are the kids who can inflict some damage on the kids wearing the worst gear. So I think good pads for kids is hugely important, especially if they're mobile. You know, these things are comfortable, a lot of mobility, but fantastic padding, especially compared to the beginner pads that my kids had. All right, so let's get into this. All right, so when I started coaching, it was when my sons were very young. I started coaching at the lowest levels, at the youngest levels. Bobbleheads is what it was called in our club. Most parents bought the starter kit. You know, most stores and online, you know, retailers sell like beginning pads, starter kits for lacrosse, and you know, most people buy them because they're designed to fit little hands. They're not the most protective, which really doesn't matter. You know, when you're talking about 5, 6-year-olds, no one's swinging a stick hard enough. No one's getting checked. I mean, nothing. You're not going to get hurt. I mean, it may sting. You may get a little boo-boo, or you know, you may not like it when you get checked in the arm. But the amount of power that these tiny little beings can generate, pretty inconsequential. But kids grow, or kids age up. They move into different levels. So bobbleheads, like 6-year-olds, whatever. You get them something like this, it's good. You know, you can tell that these are flexible. There's a lot of mobility, but there's also good padding. This is, I don't have my kids' original youth pads here. They're in a box over there. I don't want to go get them, but you know, those things were some real soft foam, and it didn't worry me at all the first year. But the second year, when kids were older, it was like, well, he's probably going to be okay. You know, I'm not going to get him new gloves yet, new pads yet, but it's something to consider, something to start thinking about. But I was aware of how kids can not only age out of pads, like grow out of pads, but the game can outgrow their pads. So as a U9 coach, I had a lot of kids who still had their starter kit, which is fine. You know, this line of padding is designed for 10U, so we're talking about 9-year-olds and under. But at U9, you know, at the end of the season, we're getting ready to move to U11. U11 then was 2 grades, so you got your new guys that just moved into U11, and you got the guys who are a grade older. This is their second year at U11. Some of those checks can be a little harder. I didn't say anything to parents who still had this starter kit because, truthfully, you know, U11, you should be able to still be using the starter kit. But once we started getting into U13, and that first year at U13, I had to have a little discussion with a lot of parents like, look, I don't want your kid to get hurt. These gloves are not designed for this level. And some of these kids, you know, at U13, especially, you know, it was 2 grades then. Maybe it still is, I don't know. Although it's called 12U now. But there was could have been a year and a half, almost 2-year discrepancy in the 2 grades in that one age group. So checks from the bigger guys, from the older guys, were definitely too hard for those entry-level gloves, those starter kit gloves. So these are targeted and designed for 10U and under, but I wouldn't be worried if a kid came to practice at that first year of 12U, you know, with these. Because it's that high density foam, you know, the vinyl that covers it. I mean, it's all super high quality materials made really well. So some of those other kits, some of those other entry level, beginner level gloves it just feels so cheap, and it feels like soft foam. The hard check is gonna do some damage. But I mean, if you look at even the very smallest pad on the tip of the pinky, that's solid foam. Like, this is good, strong foam. And the padding is, you know, everywhere you'd expect padding, there's padding. It's got this neat little, you know, because little guys, you know, if this is for 10U, that can go all the way down to like 4-year-olds. And so that's a big glove for a tiny little guy, but you have this strap across the palm to tighten it up, and the cuff. You know, look how small the cuff can get. That's tiny. I could fit 3 fingers through there. But yeah, these are, I mean, super well made, and I think it takes a lot of the stress away from needing to buy gloves at that next level after 10U, at least for the first year. You know, the kid's going to be fine. He's going to want new gloves, especially if he's been playing for a few years and he's starting to pay attention to gear. But these are absolutely the best beginner gear I've ever seen in terms of gloves. $50, not bad. This is the chest protector. That's the front. It's got a sternum pad, but the sternum pad is just, it's not hard plastic. It's or hard material. It's foam. It's a very hard, stiff foam. But you know, at 10U, 12U, no one's shooting hard enough to hit you in the heart and stop your heart, right? So this is fine. It's an extra piece, and it's plenty of protection for a little guy. It's got the shoulder caps here that it's real dense foam. The bicep pads, which, you know, sometimes little guys have big brothers and they want to emulate them, so these actually are removable. It comes up through the top of the shoulder pad, this piece that you can adjust, and it's fully adjustable, so a little guy might need it way up there. Bigger guy might need it, you know, down a ways because he's got bigger arms. But, you know, I wouldn't recommend removing this for a young player. You know, you would hate for a kid to get a hard check here and be like, forget lacrosse, I'm out of here. You know, so I think the older they get, they can make decisions about padding, and then when, you know, if they complain about getting hit in a spot where they should have padding but they removed it, you know, there's no sympathy there. It's like, dude, that was your decision, suck it up, let's go. And I've had that conversation with my own kid, because he's wearing, a long time ago, but he's wearing his not his U9 shoulder, chest protector shoulder pads, but his U11 ones that we got his first year U11, so he was 9. He might have been, yeah, 9, I think, maybe just 10. But anyway, he's still wearing those as a junior in high school, and they're tiny and they're all cut up, but he loves them. And I was actually showing him these. He was like, hey, those are small, but I think honestly these would be too small for him. Anyway, these things are, I should have taken the time to take out my kid's beginner kit, because we do still have it, but I didn't. But it'd be funny to compare these modern chest protector shoulder pads to those. These are, I mean, the quality, the fit and finish on these things are really nice. You know, I mean, obviously you can't tell too much from the video, but these things are quality. For a little guy, this is great gear. I'm a big fan of these. I mean, I'm totally out of the youth. You know, I don't do anything with our youth club anymore. I'm just completely removed from it. But, you know, I'm excited by these for new kids coming up, because brand new players are going to get quality gear. These are the arm pads. So these things, you know, real simple design. I like that there's this nylon sleeve inside. You know, it's for kind of form-fitting. You look, it's pretty small in there. Little arms are going to be able to fit in here, no problem. But then there's plenty of, so one thing you find with putting arm pads on little kids is that oftentimes this strap is too long and it ends up over here where it's not connecting to any Velcro, so it's too big. This, if you'll notice, the strap is pretty short. Not stretching it at all, it hardly reaches to the other side, which is awesome. So you get like half a stretch and you're you're covered. If you get like full stretch, you know, someone with tiny little arms, you know, these are going to fit a little kid well. He's not going to be pulling up his arm pads all game. I'm a big fan of that. So the pads that came with my kids' youth kits were terrible. The strap was just nowhere near where it should have been. They were always down on their gloves. And, you know, elbows and arms exposed on a little guy who you're trying to get to love the game, and he's getting whacked in the elbow. Not cool. So these things, perfect for little guys. So let me just go over the prices here. These arm pads are 29 bucks. Awesome. Awesome for the youth player. Really hard. It feels like, well, I bet there's some kind of hard plastic in here. Not a lot. You know, it moves. I can push on it. But again, you don't need that much for youth. The Velcro, the straps are awesome. They're going to fit any size arm for a little guy. 10U. You know, even the beefy kids are going to be able to fit in there. Shoulder pads, again, you know, some of the features that you'd find in high-end, you know, more adult pads. Good Velcro. Also, same kind of deal. Short Velcro. You know, if you have a real little guy, you go all the way to here. He's in there. He's snug. When my kids had in their beginner shoulder pads, we used to have to do this. We'd take this side all the way over to this side, and this side all the way over to this side. Some of you parents, I'm sure, coaches have probably done the same thing. For when the straps are too big, it's just kind of a mess. These things are going to fit right out of the box. The shoulder pads are $55.99, so 56 bucks for that. What did I say, 29 for the arm pads, and $49.99 for the gloves. Good deal, good stuff. It will last a few seasons. You know, if you get it, Bobbleheads, kid's 6 years old, he'll be able to use it all the way to 10U. The stuff will be nicely broken in. He'll be sad to see it go when he grows out of it, or he moves to that, you know, U12 or 12U level. But then that's when kids start thinking about gear, and they start getting excited about gear. So, you know, I don't know if this is more expensive than the current, like, youth stuff that's for sale by other companies, but I promise you this is the best. They put a lot of thought into this to make it quality products for little guys, and I can really appreciate that. Being a former father and coach of little guys, you know, I think good gear for them is real important. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and hopefully this doesn't look too stupid. A little stupid is fine. This is my green screen. I need actually more lights. I've got my two soft boxes right there, but I need some kind of lights back here to avoid shadows on the green screen. Anyway.
I can hear the silence as I'm walking by.